The NHL playoff picture is still up in the air, but here in Winnipeg, fans are confident the arena will echo with the sound of white noise again.
Let's go! Go, Jets, go! Winnipeg is back in the big leagues and over the moon.
Welcome back to the landing strip, presented by From Financial. As Turd puts it here early, their marathon is over. Time to sprint. Mikey, before I bring you in here, I'm going to tee it up, and we'll get that sweet, sweet victory music one last time in this regular season after the Winnipeg Jets finish with a franchise record, 56 wins, a franchise record, 116 points, President's Trophy for the first time ever, Central Division winners for the first time ever, Western Conference champions for the first time ever, and back-to-back William Jennings trophies, which who would have thought about with this core even like 4 years ago, 3 years ago even. Connor Hellebuyck, because of the games played threshold, will be the first goalie to have his own name without the backup on the William Jennings for the first time since the early 80s. So is this going to be another one of the resume moments as we head into awards season? Mikey, why don't you hit that song one more time?
Let's go.
What a season.
Unreal.
Just getting started. We'll go back to back.
We deserve it. It's a treat.
Mikey, how are you doing tonight?
Man, I'm fired up after that. That was absolutely the best way to finish off the season. We sat down to watch the game. Shout out to you, by the way. Thank you so much for sending us to the game tonight. We sat down to watch the game, and within the first couple minutes, I turned to Miranda and I go, "Oh, it's just going to be a shooting gallery tonight, isn't it?" And that was what a way to go out tonight. The Jets, you know, we weren't a big fan of the Jets playing all of their starters tonight. The risk of injury is too great to, going into the playoffs. Luckily, I think we kind of escaped that without anything super serious going on. But yeah, it's real fun to see everybody go out there and just kind of skate around and just take shot after shot after shot at Husso in the Ducks net. So a great way to go out. They get the overtime winner. It was exciting, front to back. It was awesome.
Yeah, no, it was definitely a fun night in-house. Glad you got to enjoy it. I had a blast where Liz got to one-up me with Winnipeg Sports Talk there after a little Pionk debate. There's a nice pic of me laughing after that one. It was just one of those fun nights in the house. Everyone knew the game didn't mean much, and the giveaways, there's a ton of those with Fan Appreciation Night. The barn was buzzing. Shooting gallery, like you talk about. Not the game we're going to see come, it sounds like Saturday, based on Cole Perfetti saying, I can't wait for Saturday.
Yep.
Still waiting on that announcement. But definitely a fun night in the barn. Definitely a fun season. As Choices TK on Twitch says, just a special season, not only as a team, but so many players with milestones, records, and career highs. Fun being a fan, following your team when every game matters, and it feels like it is building towards something. On to the playoffs, boys. Prove everyone wrong and get the respect you all deserve. So I'm going to use this moment to let you know, Choices, what a great guy. What a great part of this community. Sent over 2 pairs of whiteout street party tickets for Game 1. So during the From Financial Face-Off today, if you're in the comments and you want to go to this street party, make sure you get in the chat and say you're from Financial Faceoff, which this episode we're going to treat a little different. We're going to highlight some of the highs and lows of this team this year. We're going to dive into the Blues series coming up, as we now officially know that that's who we will be playing. And we're going to approach the From Financial Faceoff as what you believe the difference in the first round this season can be. So keep that in the back of your mind as we approach there for a chance to win some street party tickets. Mikey, where do you want to go from here?
We'll start about talking about the guy that you quickly mentioned and that Jennings trophy with his name solo on there, Connor Hellebuyck. What an ending to the season that he getting his name on the Jennings was going to be said, the first time since the 80s that he's going on solo?
Mm-hmm.
To add that to the list of historic firsts for him this year, he's getting that Vezina. There's no question about it after that regular season. If you've been listening to this show for any stretch of time, you've heard me rant and rave that you need to be giving him the Hart Trophy right fucking now. It's just absolutely another piece to it as to why he was the MVP. And like you said, egging the crowd on there at the end of the game. He's feeling it, man. This is something that he's going to be pushing real hard for the playoffs. I mean, not the trophies, the playoffs. So I'm real excited. And again, just another good night from Hellebuyck. He ended up with more saves than what really kind of looked like happened on the ice. You know what I mean? There wasn't a ton of them that he had to make that were huge, but the ones that he did, he was right where he needed to be. So yeah, I'm real excited to see Connor Hellebuyck in this playoff run. He can finally shake off some of those playoff, some people have had some questions about Connor Hellebuyck in the playoffs, and I think this is going to be the year he can finally put that to bed.
As pierogies goes, Jennings, Vezina, Hart, and I follow Pat Phoenix on Twitter, and he's been posting all week. I don't think a goalie has done that yet, and I think it is time for that to be knocked off the mantle. Watching, I'm so Hellebuyck pilled right now. I'm always Hellebuyck pilled, but him going out for the second star and egging on the MVP chance in that building just getting louder. And I gotta say, for a team that has given us 82 games of feeling like it's building towards something we haven't felt in some time, I like to see the bulletin board material added this week. Watching Dylan Sandberg and Cole Perfetti's reactions to finding out the Players Association voted Hellebuyck as the third best goalie this year. Insane.
Ridiculous.
And you know players are just going based off like the playoff reps and everything like that. But it was one of those chip on the shoulder type moments that makes me even feel even better about starting to bet on this team going for the big dance. I mean, that guy's my GOAT, and now you're giving him more fuel. I mean, Choices points out this year, Hellebuyck, 38 games, 2 goals or less. And of those 38 games, 25 games of 1 goal or less. Give him the Hart.
Yes, sir.
That's an insane season.
Absolutely insane.
Season.
Kevin Kowalik over on the YouTube chat says, even the TNT broadcast for the Devils Detroit game talked about Hellebuyck for 5+ minutes in the third period and how he deserves the Hart, no question. Amazing to hear from all over. And I'm also going to agree with Arcsine in the chat. Hellebuyck's been fine in every playoff. The Jets just completely fall apart in front of him each time. So, yeah, this is incredible. Like you said, it hasn't been done before. There's no question. You got to give him the Hart. I'm so excited to see him in the playoffs.
As T. Will says, it's like the rest of the league never want to win the cup again with all that talk. And yeah, Rat River Rebel says, players are partial to athletic goalies. Every save Helly makes looks like anyone can make it. And that has always been a thing around him, right? We've talked about that a bit. Yep,
absolutely. And yeah, just it's hard when you're a first place team the entire season, leading in all these categories to give yourself, bulletin board material. Excuse me, to find things to kind of make yourself the underdog in your own minds a little bit. So if other teams are going to, or not other teams, pardon me, if the players and things like that kind of come out and give you something easy that you can now put on, you're like, hey, they only think I'm the third best, and gives you that little extra motivation, which maybe can be hard to find sometimes when you're at the top. But yeah, this is awesome. I'm so excited.
Yeah, just an incredible regular season, and it does feel this different this time around, even with some big injuries. It looks like Gabe Velarde's back doing some conditioning. I imagine we're going to have to see him get in a contact practice or two before he comes back, and then the Nick Ehlers week to week. So I imagine we don't see him. And I still feel good about this team. I see Arc Sign says, I'm scared of the Blues. These guys are on a heater. Reminds me of 2019. And Ehlers We Trust says, I'm not scared of the Blues. This is a vastly different Winnipeg Jets team. Looking forward to the battles ahead. I hope that Ehlers heals up fast. Mikey, are you scared of the Blues? Let's talk about after a wild night for the Jets matchups last night. Minnesota was 20 seconds away from us getting Minnesota. They tied that up late. And then if they didn't do that, Calgary came all the way back on Vegas. So just a fun race right to the end today. And then your boys end up sealing their fate, getting in with the Habs there. What do you think this time around for the Winnipeg Jets versus St. Louis Blues round 1?
So I don't know if there's any WWE fans out there watching right now, but I'm kind of feeling like Jey Uso talking to Gunther. Originally I was a little bit afraid of the Blues when they were on that heater, when they were winning 11 straight. That was the game I was really staring at coming up during that week when I think we had Dallas right afterwards, kind of for the division title up in the air. I'm not afraid anymore. I am not afraid of the Blues. They don't scare me. We've got 3-1, 3-1-0 against them this year, head to head. That last meeting wasn't even close, especially with the Blues playing as well as they were, rolling as well as they were, 11 straight. I'm not afraid of the Blues. I've got the Jets in 5 as a spoiler for what I'll be picking in that one. I think we're gonna rock them. This isn't a 2019 Blues. Benny may have got the upper hand at Four Nations, but Hellebuyck's going to be taking this one.
Yeet, as Rat River Rebel says. He knows. This series I look at way differently than 2019. In 2019, the Blues were the hottest team in the NHL from Christmas on, and the Winnipeg Jets were playing at a bottom 6 level, if people remember that side of it. Like, the Winnipeg Jets were not playing good hockey going into that first round series. And I don't think this is the same Blues team talent-wise as they were back then. This is a more complete Winnipeg Jets team. And if you just break down what the two teams have done this year, the Jets have been a better 5-on-5 offensive team. They've been a better 5-on-5 defensive team. They've been much better at finishing from all areas on the ice in the O-zone. It seems like a lot of the goals, looking at the shot charts, has a lot of St. Louis's offense coming from the left side of the ice, not much using that full offensive zone, which is kind of interesting when you look at the Jets' decor. The right side might be the area to expose, but St. Louis is finishing and saving not nearly anywhere close to Winnipeg's. And then the specialty teams for Winnipeg, though that power play missing Ehlers and Velarde might be a bit stale come round 1. The Jets have been a better specialty teams team than them. The odds makers have the Jets as a -200 favorite, which is a pretty big favorite in round 1. And this is, you look at the rosters, and normally my big thing is that the Jets' top end talent doesn't compete with like a Colorado. That would be the team I'm worried about. We'll see where they are round 2 potentially. Yep. I don't look at the Blues as a team that can match up to Winnipeg's top end talent. You basically shut down that Thomas Buchnevich line, and you're in pretty good shape, especially with Dylan Holloway going down, who had really broken out for them. The Jets handled Jordan Kyrou pretty damn well last time they were in Winnipeg. And with this defensive system and keeping pucks to the outside, Connor Hellebuyck playing at the level he is, I think the Blues are the Jets are just what the doctor ordered to put a stop to this shooting bender St. Louis has been riding. Yep,
I completely agree with you on that one. -200 feels actually kind of like the right spot for them. I think the Jets are that much better top to bottom than the Blues. I was a little bit afraid, like I said, we're not even a little bit. I was really afraid before we played them, again recently, and I got to just really pay attention again on that head-to-head. I like the way we stack up against them. And like you said, with Holloway going down, that really limits what they're going to be able to do in terms of matchups. So, yeah, I think the Jets are gonna get to go out and show off a little bit in this one, and maybe keep the series short enough that they can catch their breath, and maybe a Gabe Velarde gets back for round 2.
I still think he's going to get in at some point round 1.
You think he'll make it in there, yeah?
Skating already?
Yep. I'm sorry, Ehlers. Hopefully getting an Ehlers back in round 2. Gabe Velarde, like you said, has already been skating. Yeah, well, we might see him sometime game 2, game 1 even. But Ehlers hopefully in round 2 sometime would be best case scenario.
If the Winnipeg Jets don't completely collapse like last year's playoffs, they should win this round. I'm so confident. I'm picking fights on Twitter with Tony X of all people, who's already body bagged me with the pick from 2019. I can't wait to retweet him with the winner this year, because this ain't 2019 anymore. I feel damn good about this team going in this year that I'm willing to talk a little shit and get it fired up. Turd says I sound a little quiet. We'll work on that. But, hey, it feels better this year. And if the Jets just keep doing what I have so much trouble this year seeing the bottom come out because we haven't seen it. But if the Blues were to upset Winnipeg, what do you think would kind of be behind that? If there is some avenues you could see the Blues winning this series, what do you think that looks like?
Exposing the third pairing minutes, if they can catch them out there, is going to be a big thing. That's we've seen it be a little bit rough again tonight, that Stanley Shen pairing. So that's definitely a spot that they can take advantage of if they're going to get the matchups out there. Mm-hmm. Outside of that, I don't really know. The Jets have done such a great job. Oh, all right. The Jets have done such a great job of keeping the shots to places where Connor Hellebuyck can see them, and if Connor Hellebuyck can see the shot, he's stopping it. So there's really not much the Blues scare me with right now going into this one. I guess if Binney goes playoff Binney and just goes absolutely out of his mind, like we saw Husso tonight, they can extend the series a bit, but I still think the Jets will be able to come out on top of that one.
Yeah, that would be the avenue I would kind of expect, is potentially the bottom falling out from the bottom half of this roster. Outside Sandberg Morrissey, I still wonder about the D a little bit.
Yep. And
if you catch them in a bad week and the floor kind of falls out, I could see that being an avenue where the Blues really take advantage. It's just hard for me to imagine given the consistency we've seen out of Winnipeg, and if Binnington gets hot, and the fact that I do respect Jim Montgomery as a coach as well. I think it's going to be an interesting series. So with that being said, what do you think? What's your prediction? How many games?
I've got it in 5 for the Jets. I think they're going to make tidy work of St. Louis. Monty's a good coach, and he's going to be able to exploit some of the matchups at home for sure. There's no question about it, especially if they can catch Neil Pionk on some bad changes and things like that. But I still think the Jets are better. They're playing better. They're playing a very different game, and like I said, if Connor Hellebuyck can see the shot, he's going to stop it, and the Jets have really found a way to make sure that the shots that are getting through are those type, right, where he can see it, they're not too dangerous.
I'm gonna channel Uncle Shannon Sharp here. Robert Thomas, Broken Promises, Jets in 5.
Hell yeah!
I do think it's I wanted to do the bit just to be funny. I think I got Jets in 6 in this one. I think with the injuries to Ehlers and Velarde, it might help extend that series a little bit. But I do think the Jets get through this in 5 or 6 games, and I'm hoping Binnington doesn't decide to ride a horseshoe up his ass, because that would definitely be really frustrating after this season.
Yeah. If we get Velarde back real early on in this one, I think that's going to shape the power play a lot better, which again will give the Jets that extra edge that they've really had throughout most of the season, and he gives you that dimension there again. So, yeah, I think I'm not worried about it. I think they're going to be able to make tidy work of this one and then get some time to catch their breath.
Okay, well, since we're on that topic, let's go to the From Financial early here, and then we'll get into Tuck Zero from Zooch, who signed a contract today. We'll get into that. If you'd like a chance to win some street party tickets, we're giving away 2 pairs here. We want to hear your From Financial face-off. What is going to be the difference in round 1 between Winnipeg winning the series and St. Louis winning the series? We want to hear from you. Mikey, what aspect do you think it's going to be?
So you touched on it earlier. They're going to have to shut down that Buchnevich line. Scott Arniel is going to have to really work the matchups. He's going to need to get especially at home, to shut down, because that's where you're going to have that last change, right? If they can shut down that top line, St. Louis, I don't think right now has the depth in scoring to be able to recover from that. And that's how the Jets are really going to be able to, like I said, to make short work of this series. So that's my From Financial. It's going to be Scott Arniel with those matchups at home, finding a way to shut down the offense from St. Louis.
I'm going to go 2 spots here for mine. The defensive structure is really Winnipeg's bread and butter. And if they play to that structure, I think they'll slow down this offensive explosion out of St. Louis. The other area I'm going to point out is the forecheck. I look at St. Louis's D, and it's a lot of older names people would probably recognize from their glory days. That D-core is not one that I fear at all. I think they're going to have some trouble moving the puck, and we've seen what this team can do when they forecheck teams with that situation and what they turn into their cycle game, which drives into their offense. I think this is the type of series outside the specialty teams. I do have a little bit of specialty teams worries with those injuries, but at 5-on-5, this does feel like the type of matchup Winnipeg should control the offensive zone and jump all over those D. And as long as they stick to that defensive structure and don't collapse on themselves, I think they'll slow down the top half of the St. Louis Blues roster.
Hell yeah.
Let's go to the chat. And for every entry, Mikey, if you want to let that down, we'll do a little spin of the old wheel at the end. Silas, you must have missed it. I got the Jets in 6, though I had to do a little Shannon Sharp Jets in 5 bit that I was practicing all day for no reason. It was kind of cringe, but I got Jets in 6 in this one. I would go Jets in 5 if they're healthy. I just think with those 2 big injuries, it could be a bit tighter of a series. Starting over at Twitch, Rye Guy says, from Financial Faceoff, the Lowry line. And that's the type of line you imagine is going to get some of those Thomas Buchnevich minutes, especially at home, which would free up that Scheifele line, who I imagine will take the other half of those minutes to jump on some of that depth in St. Louis. Zooch40 says, the From Financial Faceoff for this series is depth like Tuck Light, which is his new name for Alex Iafallo, who will discuss his contract here shortly. D Labs is From Financial Faceoff is Thomas and Booch line is going to get their chances. Limit them more on the road and we'll be fine. Part 2 is Perfetti going full prick mode and going to lead the first round. And I want to use that Perfetti point. I had a nice breakout candidate in my DMs, Blaine, who was listening last show. You know who his breakout candidate was? And I thought this was a nice off-the-board one. Morgan Barron in this playoff run could be a bit of a breakout surprise. And I wanted to shout that one out because that one, I like that one.
See, I told you. You all said I was crazy. Morgan Barron. Something there now. Yeah, that's a real good. That's a good option to choose. He was hurt last year for the playoffs, so we didn't get to see him even get an opportunity out there. So yeah, with his dogged play list lately, it'll be interesting to see.
Formerly's From Financial Faceoff is the reason will be health of the Jets players. So at this point, definitely staying healthy is a key. They've already lost 2 pretty key guys from their top 6. Doug Henderson's is Arniel's defensive system, so I'm in line with him there on mine. Kenny's water bottle has the From Financial Faceoff as last year's Jets were inconsistent. This season, for most games, the Jets played a predictable, consistent style of game. I think their commitment to playing the right way will be the difference. And for me, that is the biggest difference between Winnipeg this year and Winnipeg last year. I just can't see the floor falling out from them. Like, we saw inconsistent stretches, and that was definitely always in the back of your mind. We haven't seen it this year, and that's a reason why I believe this team could go on a run.
Yeah, it's like you said, they're not riding a wave of, super high shooting percentage like in the past. It's not winning games against, bottom feeding teams. They've been consistently good throughout the season. Anytime they have had off nights, because it always happens, right? They're still human. Bad games are gonna come up. They've rebounded so well and so quickly that it hasn't had the opportunity to build up to being a habit or something that you're like, oh, here's a threat I'm worried about. They've consistently been able to right the ship, get back onto their own game. And, credit to Scott Arniel and to the players, because, we've talked a lot about the lineup and, how just married they are to this exact lineup with these settings. And, there's definitely ways we'd rather see it kind of put together some nights, but I guess there is something to say about the consistency of keeping this together, knowing the guys that you're playing with, knowing the game, and knowing the system inside and out the way that they do.
Curtis Weebs from Financial Faceoff is net front traffic, capitalize on tips, rebounds, and battle. And we know at this time of year, when the games mean more, that's the areas you're going to have to get to. And that's something I thought the Jets were a lot better at down the stretch than years past. In Ehlers We Trust from Financial is the depth will be the key. The ability to play players in different lines, flexibility, and hopefully we go into our wounded warriors all healed up. Goodbye, Blues.
Ooh. Agreed.
T. Kona's from Financial Faceoff is the buy-in and focus all season. And how can you disagree with that? Now let's hope that translates to more of the same in these playoff type games. Amber Carriers from Financial Faceoff is, I think, goaltending, home ice advantage, and just overall determination that the team has been displaying as of late. And they go into every series with the better goaltender on the other side. They have home ice advantage in every series as long as they're in it.
Yep.
Hard to disagree with those 2 points from Amber. Chase is from Financial Faceoff. I think they can shut down their hot top 6, and I feel confident our bottom 6 is better and it can help them win some games. And I do like that takeaway when looking at the 2 rosters between the 2 teams as we head into round 1. Silas is from Financial Faceoff is, I think if Helly plays good, we should be good. Also, our offense can't crash. And that would be like the one thing when you're thinking about what an early exit could look like. It is the goals drying up for this team. But if Connor Hellebuyck keeps giving them 1 to 2 goals, maybe 3 on the odd night wins it, I think we can squeeze through there. Eric, shout out. Nick, I saw you and tried to say hi. Missed you, man. Maybe I'll catch you at one of the whiteout parties or at the game. Sorry about that. T. Wills from Financial Faceoff for round 1. Logan Stanley, he's been snowing us all year. And could you imagine what threw a big check tonight, eh? Whew.
Yeah, saw that. Actually, it's funny. The gentleman I was sitting next to in the at the game, we were talking about Logan Stanley for most of the night, and he goes, but can you imagine that it ends up being Stanley that scores the game-winning goal for the Stanley Cup in Game 7 kind of thing? And I'm like, yeah,
it'd be sick.
He can still go though after. It's okay. I don't mind. We'll love him for it, but it's all right.
So, yeah, if you'd like to keep getting entered, let us know you're from Financial Faceoff. But I like what Turd says here, too. The Jets' PP needs to sort itself out in these few days off. Could be the difference in any series starting this weekend, especially when you are missing Gabe Vilardi and Nick Ehlers, who are such big pieces of that PP, but also big pieces of your 5-on-5 offense. That is definitely an area that I'd like to get some production out of. And I got to say that 5-on-3 again, just frustrating today.
Yeah. It's been real noticeable lately just how much it's not working at 5-on-3. They're trying to move the puck, they're trying to skate a little with it. They're just not putting anything towards the net. They're not looking for any traffic. It's just we want a clean shot through into the goal and that's it. So it's been real frustrating to watch lately.
Breaking news. Game 1, Saturday night, 5 p.m. at Canada Life Center.
5 p.m.
We go at 5, and then Avs and Dallas go at 7:30. What a night for the Central.
Wow. 5 p.m. start time for us. That's all right.
Let's go. I'm excited for a Saturday game.
Yeah, absolutely. Still get WrestleMania in. That's great.
And there you go. After our show, we'll be able to catch up.
Exactly. It's perfect.
Are we getting your WrestleMania picks at the end of tonight or what?
Ooh, I mean, no, we'll do it on Saturday. I'll give it to you right before we go.
T. Kona, I did say Saturday. Saturday, 5 p.m. will be the start. Zooch 40 also points out on the special teams, whistles away in the playoffs, so PK much more important.
Yep, very true.
So it seems like we're all in on the Jets getting over that first round bump and beating St. Louis. Let's talk about some business around the team as Alex Iafallo signs a 3 times $3.67 million deal today. He was talking about how great this team is. Why wouldn't he want to stay? It was funny because I went and listened back because I remember when we first got him, Friedman was kind of talking about on 32 Thoughts that he loved LA so much and it might be a the type of situation for a reflip. And then less than 2 years later, here we are, him extending till he's 34 years old. What'd you think when you saw the Alex Iafallo deal? How you feel about it? Where does the Jets business go from here?
Man, I've come all the way around on Alex Iafallo. If you go back to the start of the season, I was still looking at him as a piece that the Jets could flip out, one, to potentially clear up more cap space to help add a big name at the deadline, or if he was playing well and they can recoup some type of pick for him that they can then, continue to use again to flip out to bring somebody in at the deadline, to all the way around to part of the way through the season going, I need him re-signed. Like, I want to keep him around. He's my new Mathieu Perreault. He's my new just all-around utility guy. You can put him on any four of the lines. You can put him with any centerman, and he figures out how the game works with that player. So I'm real happy that they're keeping Al around for the next 3 years. I'm fine with the cost to keep him here. The 3.66 is still less than what he's making right now. And he's, you're keeping one of your key utility players. So I'm real happy with the signing. I thought that's some real good work from Chevy.
In Ehlers with Trust, we'll do some predictions on all the series after we wrap up this Iafallo bit. And then in the 3 stars today, we're going to talk about the Jets specifically over the course of the year. On Alex Iafallo, it ends up being in the exact range that a lot of the projection models had. So I saw a lot of the this is a steal, and I don't quite necessarily think that, but I think this was a very good piece of business for the Winnipeg Jets to get done. He's a versatile forward, quality vet, someone that's well-respected, well-liked, and he's done well jumping up and down the lineup. Those are key players, especially with some potential turnover coming out of Winnipeg. To get a guy like that who played his whole career in LA, it's another stab in the whole chest of the no one wants to be in Winnipeg narrative that I think the Jets org has done a fantastic job just dispelling at this point.
Yep.
He clearly fits into this market well with the outdoor activities and all that. And he's a key piece to this. My big thing, as we talked about a lot this year, it should mean, and I see Al Camino says, is that a sign that Appleton is for the streets? I would hope so after this deal. You just can't afford to go down that stretch. I think getting Vlad done, you got your versatile center/winger. Now you got your versatile winger who you could trust in every situation done. I do think that's a spot that should fall off the roster going into the summer with a deal like this. But a very good piece of business for the Winnipeg Jets to get done, both on and off the ice, I would feel.
Yeah, absolutely. And like Choices, TK points out in the chat, Connor today called Iafallo one of his favorite teammates. So you've got a guy that's liked in the room, that plays well with anybody that you stick him with. You got him signed at a reasonable price. Like it's not a steal by any stretch, but it's a good, like you said, it's a good piece of business. I think everybody comes out ahead there, and if that means that, Mason Appleton is going to be hitting the market and playing somewhere else, again, nothing against him as a person. There are better ways that the Jets can fill that spot, can use that cap space. So I'm hoping that the Vlad and now Iafallo signings mean that Mason Appleton will probably be hitting free agency.
As T. Konopoli puts it, buy Apple's Hello Chibrikov, and that's where my mind would go as well.
Perfect.
Formerly says he is worth that contract all day, and you touch on a good point. Right till 34, so it's probably the age you want to be not going past, so it was a nice piece of business there. We're now entering a cap rising environment, which as he kind of takes a step back into his mid-30s, depth players are going to be making that money anyways.
Yep.
Elias McCracken says, I think it's a steal. Less money with cap going up. Good term. Loves Winnipeg. Doesn't complain. And so versatile. The only reason I say it's not really a steal, players get paid on time on ice and points. And it was just, given his season, despite the recent stuff, this is what we should have expected him to be in. And he ends up right in line with all that. So I just think this is a good piece of business for both sides. And he wasn't quite playing at the numbers that got him that $4 million. So I'm not looking at this as a discount. I think this was just quality business and good business to get done. They've gotten 2 deals done so far, and they've avoided both my landmines. I think the Winnipeg Jets are in really, really good shape going into the summer, as long as they avoid the Neil Pion contract and Mason Appleton contract. They got Nemestikov done at a good number. They got Iafallo done at a good number, keeping the depth intact. As long as they avoid those two landmines, I think the Winnipeg Jets are in a real good spot.
Yeah, Neil Pionk with another goal today, adding to the resume that he's going to be walking into the sunset with, hitting that free agent market. He's going to be an absolute darling out there. He's going to have teams lining up to give him big money, and I'm just glad that it's probably not going to be the Winnipeg Jets. I think it's like you said, it's a risk that we don't need to take. We can fill that spot. We can find a better option to do it, and somebody else can make that mistake. Nothing against him as a person. It just you don't want to be paying for past performances, and that's what you'll be doing on that next Neil Pionk contract. You're not going to be getting the production you have now. So
I gotta say, Nik is literally the only guy that thinks this isn't good value. It's good business for both parties. I just don't think it's the steal a lot of people want to put up on the mantle as a big discount that he was going to make $5 million or something. I think this is good business for the team and the org to get done.
Yep.
I think this is good business for Alex Iafallo into his 34s. I think this is a good piece of business to get done, to lock up a guy that's been key to the depth here. I just don't think it was a steal. It's good work. It's a good GM contract. I don't know why we're getting the idea that I don't think it's good value. It's good business.
Yeah, it's one of those ones
business
everybody
for both parties.
It's one of those ones everybody comes out ahead, right? The team is happy with it, the player's happy with it. It's not like he was, like you said, he's not going to be going to the open market and getting 5x5 somewhere. Right.
Agreed.
I think it was a good deal for everybody involved. I think everybody walks away happy on that one.
I get called negative enough. I don't need my point misconstrued on something.
You're like, I like this one. I like this. What happened?
It's good business. It's good business. Zeech40 says you're a steal at a free subscription, and hey, we're gonna use that to say go like, subscribe, send to your friends and family, because I tend to agree.
Absolutely.
Silas, I was talking about a giveaway. We're going to be giving away some Jets whiteout party, street party tickets at the end, two pairs, thanks to Choices TK, who reached out and wanted to give back to the community here.
So make sure, if you haven't already, commented what your From Financial Faceoff is, what the Jets' difference is going to be beating the St. Louis Blues in the first round, or give us a call, 1-204-800-0409. 1-204-800-0409. Get on the line. It's the landing strip. Tell us you're from Financial Faceoff and win some whiteout street party.
Rat River Rebel says Pionk for the next 3 years is the best thing for the Jets, and that's just something I cannot disagree with more. I think Neil Pionk's getting a very big pedestal of late, considering on his last deal, the Winnipeg Jets lost that deal. There is no way anyone can make the case that the Winnipeg Jets got equal value on his last deal. Now he's entering his 30s. He's been banged up. He's only been quality beside Dylan Sandberg. You do not pay a passenger the big money his points and his time on ice are going to get. His cap, there's no chance they only signed 3 years. They're going to be looking to max out as he's set up for a big deal. There is just no way it's best for the Winnipeg Jets. In the NHL marketplace and internally, I don't think Neil Pionk's the level of player that the Winnipeg Jets can't replace and be adequate from. This idea that the Winnipeg Jets would fall off if Neil Pionk walked out the door, I just can't buy it all. I just can't. I don't even know if he's a top 10 most important player to this team's success. You don't pay premium money for a guy like that. You end up walking yourself into a big mistake. What happens if you pay him? You've now blocked off Salmonson. You've blocked off opportunities via trade that may come up, and you're still a top 4 defenseman in the NHL short. So as soon as that deal is signed and done, he's a negative valued asset. And that is the quickest way in a cap league that you start going the wrong way, is by making that type of mistake. The Jets have done a real good job of avoiding that mistake. This would be that mistake, and this team can't afford to make it.
Yeah, like you said, he's only been effective next to Dylan Sandberg. And then it also costs you Dylan Sandberg's offense and production. So not only is he blocking off a spot potentially from Salmonson, you're also now hindering Sandberg's offensive game development, because he's so focused on making sure that he cleans up the mess behind Pionk. Pionk's a great offensive D. That is no question. He's got a great shot. He can get it through. It's just, you don't want to be paying for the past performances. And you're going to be overpaying for those past performances, because they're those very specific counting stats. They're the goals, or the time on ice, or the assists. Just let somebody else make that mistake, right? Get out a year early rather than a year late, because a year late turns into 7 years late because he's not taking a 2 or 3 year contract.
Rat River Rebel says you guys act like last year Pionk is who he is as a player. I mean, every single year he's been that player outside of the COVID bubble year. This year when Sandberg went down, Pionk and Fleury were the second worst deep pairing in the entire NHL. You don't pay a guy $7 million that can't carry a pair and just rides off the success at 5-on-5 with Dylan Sandberg. You just can't do it.
You can't. It would hurt your future with this team so much more than it would help. Just either way is a risk, right? Signing him is a risk, not signing him is a risk. I would rather be on the side that comes with the flexibility of having that cap space and having that roster spot, as opposed to the risk where if it doesn't work out, you are locked in hard. So that's where I'm falling on the let him walk to free agency. He's going to get a big welcome in free agency. Teams will be lining up for him. Let somebody else give him the bag. And he deserves it, but let somebody else do it.
Yeah, I'll be pumped for him if he gets that
Hell yeah.
generational wealth anywhere but here. I want to see the guy get paid. But yeah, I look at it like Elias, and we'll move on from this topic. Pionk is like Tyler Myers. Thank him, and we'll enjoy watching him play on another team. And that's just the decision you got to make. I do want to go to Z Bartel. You did see me and Liz at the game. It was quite funny for Pionk to get that big clapper after a little back and forth today. Really fun night at the barn tonight. But I want to go to Zooch 40's point here, which is a great look back on the Jets coming over and where we are now with all these franchise bests. Zooch 40 says, seeing as we live here and breathe hockey, I don't think any of us fully appreciated the gradual rise from abysmal to perennial playoff team with actual cup aspirations that Winnipeg has become. Atlanta, when they came here, were Buffalo without the quality of talent. It was literally an AHL team with Buff and Wheeler. Unfortunately, that's a different one. What do you think about that on the look back from where they were to where they are today?
I mean, that's a little Tobias Enstrom and Brian Little slander. That's a little ouch. That's painful. The rest of it's correct. But yeah, it's absolutely incredible when you look back at the team those first couple years. When we were just happy to have a team. We were just happy to have NHL hockey around, and we had Claude Noel, and we were handing out free pizzas, and there was no joy in Joyville some nights, but it was just a lot of fun.
Taking Slater to work.
Taking Slater to work. Oh, Jimmy Slater, take a jet to work. God, it was great. It was the GST line. It was a lot of fun, even if we kind of stunk. And yeah, you fast forward now to. We expect the Jets to make the playoffs. We expect a deep run, especially after a season like this. They're being picked by the media, by experts. They're setting NHL records. It's been an absolutely almost surreal ride to be on. It doesn't feel like it's actually happening some days. And yeah, when you're in the middle of it, it can kind of get around you. But it's important, like Zooch says here, to kind of just take a step back and take a look at it and go, holy shit, look how far we've come.
100%, and even after officially becoming a contender in 17, 18, and then going down the Maurice lack of accountability crossroads, as El Camino says, don't overlook the wasted Maurice years. This should have happened 4 years ago, and this org spent a lot of time giving Paul Maurice the full look into everything, and look how quickly Bones cleaned up that mess.
Yep.
It's been quite the ride, and looking back, there's just so much that stands out, and this has come a long way. The Winnipeg Jets deserve a lot of credit that we're even having these conversations. There's some orgs that are stuck in the abyss for as long as the Jets have been back. Yeah. So I think that's a great look back from Zooch 40.
Yep, absolutely. And I try to forget the Maurice years. I try to block those out now just because it's what a change we had as soon as Bones came in and kind of ripped out the offending pieces and kind of set the tone back correctly in the locker room. So yeah, it's been real good these last few years to see this progression.
Speaking of progression, Elias McCracken says, watching Helly tonight got me thinking, anyone remember Pavlik?
Of course. The blue-eyed bandit. How could you forget Andrei Pavlik? Hide the wine and the speeding in Finland.
Yeah, I sure appreciate a quality goaltender after those Pavlik years, that's for sure.
Look, he was no Michael Hutchinson, okay? The real number one.
Turd Ferguson points out, Nick, John Garrett said tonight he's hearing Bones' name in hiring cycles for coaching jobs, FYI. The guy just can't stop himself, eh?
He cannot.
Who's he going to go turn around?
Who's got a trash locker room right now? Philly?
The Rangers?
The Rangers? Yeah. Ooh, Rangers could be good. I could see that.
Yeah, go down to Broadway. Isha Boy Bruce says Salah will only be 21 next year. He will likely be on the Moose for at least 1 or 2 more seasons. I mean, for a guy that played professionally in Sweden and then played a full season in the Moose, I don't know if we got to be looking 2 years out.
No.
Pionk is the placeholder till then. And the problem with that is Pionk isn't a placeholder. He's going to be signing 5, 6, 7, 8 years at a number that the Winnipeg Jets will not be able to trade.
He's not even going to take 5 years. It's 6 or 7 years. He's not. There's no way.
You can't get
Zero
rid
chance.
of. It's the Nate Schmidt situation all over again. Yes. If you commit to it, you cannot do it.
And again, you have to get out a year early rather than a year late, because a year late turns into 7 with this situation. You can't have Pionk just for 1 or 2 more years. It's not realistic. So if the choice is Pionk for the next 6 to 7 years, or taking a shot on either Salo or finding somebody via trade or whatever it is, but you can't do Pionk for the next 7 years. It's going to be, that contract will age so poorly so quickly that it's not fair to burden the team with that.
It's a bad deal day one. Rye Guy says, I like this Bones comparison. He's the John Taffer, but for NHL locker rooms. and someone pointed out here, T. Will pointed out, Anaheim's locker room is a dumpster fire, apparently. They desperately need to move on from Greg Cronin and kind of let that rebuild flourish a little bit.
Yep. There you go. Pionk will be a Duck next year, and Bones can jump over. It'll be perfect.
I gotta let Silas know to turn up the volume and listen to us, because he's yelling at us multiple times about Game 1 is on Saturday at 5 p.m. And we talked about that like 20 minutes ago at this stage. We got it. We got it.
It's all good.
T. Polly says, shout out, Nick, shout out my boy Ty Bauer, Moose Teammate of the Year, Community Guy of the Year. And yeah, great to see those awards. We saw the Jets announcements for their team stuff. I saw Larry was up for the Leader of the Year. Who else was up there? Iafallo for Community, Dan Schneider Award. I forget who else. I wasn't fully paying attention there.
Yeah, I can't remember the rest of them.
But yeah, no, it feels good. I got a bit of a headache. Do you want to get into the 3 stars? And we'll get out of here a little bit early today.
Let's hit it.
As we go into a playoff, a whiteout edition Saturday. We'll be back Saturday evening. 3 stars today. We want to hear from you. Who are your 3 stars of the Winnipeg Jets for the full season? For the full season. That's what we're doing tonight. We're capping this show off, looking back at the full season. Actually, we got to get into the playoff matchups. In Ehlers We Trust asked for our playoff picks.
Oh, all right.
Let's do that first, and then we'll get into the 3 stars. Sorry about that.
No, it's all right. Okay, so we'll start with round 1 out in the West. Of course, Winnipeg and St. Louis, like we've talked about. I've got them in 5, making short work of the Blues. You've got them, you said, in 6, right?
In 6.
All right.
Dallas versus Avs. Who do you got in that one?
So this one, I've got Colorado in this one. I'm going Colorado 6 games. Dallas, they're fake. We talked about it. Those stars are origami. They are soft as paper. I think Colorado's gonna be able to take that one. But I'm gonna go 6 games in that one for the Avs.
I'm gonna go Avs in 6 as well. Vegas versus Mini.
Vegas and Mini. I've got Vegas in that one. I don't think Mini's actually all that good. I don't care that that what's his name is back now. I think Vegas is going to be able to put that one out in 5 games.
I'm going to go Vegas in 6. I think Mini gives them a scrappy series. We see a bit of Kaprizov take games over. I'll go Vegas in 6. LA versus Edmonton for the 4th year in a row. Who do you got in LA versus Edmonton?
I don't think he's watching tonight, but just in case he is, or on a replay, JC, cover your ears. I got the LA Kings in 7 games.
God, I hate when we agree.
Oh no!
I hate doing this. I hate betting against McDavid and Draisaitl. But I'm gonna go. The LA Kings finally beat the Demon
I
and
think they
knock
slayed the
Edmonton out in 7 games. I think they do it.
See, we should have talked about this beforehand.
Yeah. Fuck. Going over to the East, the Washington Capitals versus Montreal Canadiens.
What do you think I have?
I know what you have.
Habs in 7. They're taking down the Caps. Fuck Ovi. He got his record. He's done now. He's not even going to be paying attention during the games. The Habs are going on a historic run. They shouldn't even be here. It's house money. Give me Habs in 7. Lane Hutson's the truth, by the way. Lane Hutson's the truth, y'all.
He is. You got to teach Demidov how to back check, though.
Nah, nobody taught Ovi for the first 5 years. It's all right.
I've been telling myself I was going to go whoever Washington was playing against. I was looking at Washington as the big seed that gets knocked out early. I just don't trust the Habs yet. The fact they got here a year early, I thought they were going to take the big step next year, is a credit to that rebuild over there, and it's starting to get moving. But I'm going to go Washington in 5 games. Carolina versus the Devils.
Carolina and the Devils. So this one I've been back and forth on a lot. The series is probably not going to be all that great to watch, to be honest. So if you're looking for things to help you with your insomnia, definitely toss this series on whenever you get a chance. But I think Carolina squeaks this one out in 6.
Yeah, the Devils' second half is reminiscent to the Jets' second halves like years ago. I'm going to go Carolina in 5. Then we got 2 fun ones left in the East. I'm actually excited for both of these series. The Toronto Maple Leafs versus the Ottawa Senators. Who are you going in the Battle of Ontario?
I'm going to make our boy Voth either very happy or not happy, depending on which version of him, if he hates or loves the Leafs that day. But I'm going to take Toronto in this one. But I think it's going to be a long series. I'm going Leafs in 7.
I'm gonna go for my first dog.
Here we go.
I think the Ottawa Senators do it in 7, which goes against where I would put my money. I just can't shake a gut feeling on that one. If I was putting money on it, I'm taking Toronto, but I can't go. Something about the Sens right now. I'm going Sens.
Sending Toronto back to the old days of just constant first round knockouts. That's That's the shadow realm.
Imagine the meltdown if Ottawa does it to them this year.
Oh God, it'd be painful. I can't wait.
And then what might be the best series in round 1? Tampa Bay versus Florida. The Battle of Florida. Who do you got?
I'm going to go with a guy that I absolutely am still very salty about from his time here. I think Paul Maurice and the Florida Panthers find a way to pull through that series. I'm going to take the Panthers in 6.
This is a great series. This is the one I'm most excited to watch outside of Winnipeg, of course. I loved his deadline. I think they got one last run in them. I'm going to go Tampa Bay in 7.
Woo!
Who is your cup pick? 2 teams. Doesn't have to say who wins.
You may think I'm crazy. Jets in the Western Conference. I think that this is the revenge tour year. I think they're going to go through and slay the Dragons and at least make an appearance in the Stanley Cup final this year. And do you want my real choice or my rose-colored glasses choice?
Your real choice.
They're going to do it against Paul Maurice and the Florida Panthers. Like I said, it's the revenge tour year. They're going to slay the Dragon. They're going to do it in the Stanley Cup final. Jets and Panthers.
Do you know how sick it would be if the Jets went through St. Louis, Colorado, Vegas, and then Florida?
That's literally the path that I see it going.
That would be so cool.
It's a storybook ending to a storybook season. This is a movie, and what better way than that type of climax?
Okay, it's my turn to ask you. Do I go with the heart or the brain?
Give me your brain first, and then we'll hear your heart pick.
I'm going Colorado, Tampa, brain-wise.
Woo!
But the heart wants Tampa, Colorado, Tampa, Winnipeg. I could see whoever wins that second round if both teams make it through.
Yep.
Being the West representative, but the head says Colorado, Tampa.
Colorado, Tampa. That would be a great series.
And with that in mind, we put together a bracket challenge that we want to announce tonight. So if you want to share your brackets, and we'll be discussing them as the playoffs go on. We'll be making fun of each other's picks. You guys can make fun of mine, which will collapse in a heartbeat.
Do the giveaway
Mikey,
now?
Yeah, let's do the giveaway now, then get into the 3 stars. So we're going to give away two pairs of Street Party tickets, courtesy of Choices TK. Let's do the wheel. Kenny's water bottle. Give me a shout. I know you're on Discord. If you want to give me a message on Discord, if you're on Twitter, feel free to DM me there, and I'll send you 2 tickets to the Whiteout Party on Game 1. Silas Stahl, give me a shout in the DMs, and I'll send you a pair of Whiteout Street Party tickets. Thank you, Choices, for sending those along and wanting to give them back to the community. Hopefully you guys can enjoy those. I'll get them in your hands ASAP. Let's go into the 3 stars of the season, where we've been getting some good answers already.
All right.
Mikey, who are your 3 stars this year for Winnipeg?
Man, this was tough. This was really hard to try to do this for the whole season today. And I was going back and forth on it all day. So I'm going to start by saying I have one qualifier. Connor Hellebuyck is not eligible for my 3 stars this year because he would have gotten too many of them. He is again, if you've listened to this show for any stretch of time, you've heard me scream that should be the Hart Trophy winner this year by fucking no stretch. He's the Vezina winner. I've removed him from the equation because that's just unfair. I think he's just absolutely incredible. So with that in mind, here are my 3 stars for the season. At number 3, it's been my guy all year long. It's Cole Perfetti. That resurgence that he had mid-season, the prick Fetty mentality, the points are there now. The off the puck is there. We told everybody, hey, calm down. Don't worry about it. It's coming. I think he's just been one of the biggest pieces to the Jets. I can't remember who it was in chat, so I apologize because it was a while ago, but they pointed out that the big deadline ad that the Jets got was the emergence of Cole Perfetti. So everything from Perfetti this year has been just absolutely incredible for me. So I gave him my 3rd star. At number 2, another guy who's also broken out this year. We've gotten to see his offensive game really flourish, and it's Dylan Samberg. He's really established himself as, the second most important piece of the Jets defense by far. He gives you the option of having, the ability to have 2 number 1 pairings if you can get him a right-sided partner that can play at that level. The ability to have that behind Morrissey is going to be absolutely huge going forward. So Dylan Samberg, number 2 star. And number 1, it's a guy again who we don't talk enough about. He had a great play again tonight, and we just didn't even talk about it. Josh Morrissey, he's my number 1 star for the season. He quietly goes out and has such an impact on the game. He would be missed more than almost, I think, anybody else not named Connor Hellebuyck. Josh Morrissey is my number 1 star for the season overall. We talked a lot about, Norrisy early on, if he was going to be able to get some of that attention. It's probably not going to happen this year, but that doesn't mean that he doesn't deserve it. So I'm giving him my number 1 star.
Hey, Dom's model, maybe he can get the hype going, had Josh Morrissey as the only defenseman to be in the top 11 of both offensive and defensive impact.
Hey.
Ranking him second on his model behind Cale Makar.
Let's go.
Over on the chat, Kenny's water bottle. Like this, Jets honorable mention Morgan Barron for solidifying his position as a centerman.
Hell yeah.
He then goes 3rd star Mark Scheifele, 2nd star Josh Morrissey, 1st star Connor Hellebuyck. Tico Napoli has Samberg, KFC Helly. Curtis Weeb has 37, 55, 44. Ticona also wants to give Arneal a shout in there. But I'm kind of biased to Zooch 40's pick. Number 1 star this year, Top Line Media, first star all year long, inaugural season of the landing strip. The Jets win Jennings and the President. So I'm biased to that one. That's my favorite one so far.
Hell yeah.
Choices TK says 137, 254, 3 Davis Payne. And we know what that power play meant to them.
Yep.
This is tough. I'm going to go 3rd star because his emergence changed everything from the back end, and this team's identity is defense first. Dylan Samberg will be my 3rd star in this year, just beating out Kyle Connor, who just wrapped up his best two-way season, wrapped up what I would call his best season in the NHL as a complete player. But I just think Samberg's emergence and what he's meant to this group is just so much more impactful for how this group plays hockey. So I'm going to go Samberg 3. I'm going to go 2, Josh Morrissey. He is this team's number 1. He's a top 5 defenseman of the year. He keeps on showing it with this late career development. He's a big reason. He logs the big minutes. He impacts the game at both ends of the ice and on the power play. Josh Morrissey is going to be my number 2 season this year. And number 1, he's going to be the first goalie with a Jennings, a Hart, a Vezina. And why not add a Conn Smythe to it when the heart beats the brain this spring and summer?
Yeah.
Connor Hellebuyck is the number 1 star for the Winnipeg Jets. Though I got to point out, Scott Westman says Mikey was the number 1 star, AI and all. And he asks on the way out, Nick, is Winnipeg sexy? And I do think the Winnipeg Jets are a sexy team to believe in this year. I think this team has given us every reason to believe in them. And let's see if they can go add another banner to a historic, incredible year from Game 1 to 82. Now it's time for the playoffs. We'll see you guys Saturday.
Right on. Good night, everybody, and get ready for the whiteout.